skills, restoring the comfort, the safety, and reliability of the part of the Pennsylvania Railroad the public knew best and cared most about. A 1,000 passenger cars overhauled each year. 500 a year completely redesigned and modernized. But this was some of the hardest repair work. And the dirtiest. Class repairs to steam locomotives. From simple repair to total rebuilding. They applied skill with judgment and teamwork. They called upon generations of experience to return nearly 1,600 locomotives each year to the front lines of service. For the Pennsy and for Altoona, those locomotives were proud symbols. But it was in the making of steam locomotives that perhaps Altoona's greatest achievement would lie. Where the work of Altoona shops would take its most heroic form. Many different settings revealed the range of the tasks and the drama of the process. The furnaces and ladles of the South Altoona foundries, or castings of locomotive cylinders took shape. The Juniata boiler shops. Tons of steel plate yielding to the force of massive rollers and to the endless drilling of thousands of precision holes, all in preparation for riveting. A century of riveting and memories.
In the hammer gang, you had 4 men. You had the man that heated rivets. That was a portable forge. He pushed along. It got its force, or its blast from air that he plugged into one of these air outlets along the line. And it was operated by oil-fired.
And then you had to watch it, they didn't get too hot because it'd melt and stick together. Then you watch if they were too cold, where the guy that was running the hammer, he jumped on you because you couldn't get no head in the rivet.
Then we had the man with the little pair of tongs, we called him the sticker. He would stick the rivet through the hole, and as soon as he had the rivet in the hole, the man with the bucket tool got up on the head of it, and the man on the with the hammer drove the other end and made a nice, neat rivet.
The advancing construction of steam locomotives required myriad other skills as well. Pipe forming and fitting, preparing the flues, the fire tubes, and superheater tubes destined to deliver the steam-making heat of the boiler. The drive rods of a steam locomotive deliver the power to its drive wheels. The rods were forged by hundreds of Altoona blacksmiths.
The blacksmith shop in Juniata at one time had 500 men in both shops. It was a big operation. It had 7-man forge crews. It took 7 men to do it. 8 men would only have been in the road. 6 men wouldn't have been enough. It took 7 men. and they didn't need no supervisor, nobody alongside of them telling them what to do, and each one of them come out the same.
The whole place shook continuously. And when they were forging a rod or forging a piece of equipment, that whole place just jumped and wiggled. It was like walking into Vulcan's workshop, if you know what I mean, with the smoke and the fire and things going on.
Making dry rods involved many skills, and perhaps more than any other, the work of Altoona machinists and mechanics would come to stand for the worldwide reputation of Altoona as the place where just about anything could be made with precision to last. Beyond the shops, across the tracks, in the neighborhoods of this railroad city, there was, of course, life beyond work. The whistles of Altoona shops and yards would signal the beginnings, but more memorably, the endings of shifts. It seemed like such a brief time between those whistles for the rest of life to unfold. Generation after generation of Altoona families lived lives ordered by the schedules of railroad work. And even when they'd get away, even when families took time off together, for the simple pleasure of a summer afternoon, their outings would often lead them back to a destination that young and old always looked forward to. It was a mixture of pride and pleasure in what they had made and what they had kept running. Of course, on Monday, they'd be back at work again. But this was the mid-1940s, and going back to work was not as sure a thing as it had been for the preceding almost 100 years. Many of them thought this was a high point, a promising look at a railroading future. The combined skills and experience of Altoona's shops were at work, building an extraordinarily powerful and grandly modern new locomotive. It was designated the T1. The T1 combined the best of everything the Pennsylvania Railroad had learned about steam locomotive design and building. It was the biggest and the most powerful steam locomotive ever to be tested on Altoona's famous static treadmill. Its power, its efficiency, the performance of every moving part was put to the same rigorous evaluation that over 6,500 locomotives preceding it had been subjected to. The highest standards of the standard railroad of the world were being applied to this symbol of a technology that was actually not to be the future. Because beyond Altoona, there were forces of change on highways, in the skies, and in new railroad motive power technology that would signal profound change for the lives of Altoona men and women. The T1 would be the last steam locomotive ever built by Altoona. In 11 years, steam power on the Pennsylvania Railroad would be replaced by diesel electric power. And those locomotives would not be built here. It was the end of the steam era in Altoona. It had been a great and demanding time for thousands. But the change would leave many behind. No longer required were the skills, or the tools, or the accumulated experience that Altoona's work in steam had come to represent to the entire world. But there are symbols that remain. There are symbols that can retell, far beyond their time, the story of the proud work of a people and a place. A story still lives in these shapes of steel. This valley, once filled with smoke and soot and cinders, where whistles measured out the days and the nights, where the sounds of forging and riveting and passing trains set the rhythm of life, where the sounds of thousands of feet each day were a celebration of earnest effort. Nothing can erase the achievement and the memory of this great city and its people at work. Altoona.